I'll let you guys are live.
It'll be
If you guys want to say hello here for the time being.
Oh, hey everyone, we're live on Facebook. Make sure to go to joyradio.org to listen.
Greetings.
Alright, so we're going to start. I'll lose your mics for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I still don't see it.
It'll be like...
Alright, I'm going to start
The
this.
video is live, yes? Okay. Here we go.
But in the end, love sets it all free. Plus love. It's the only answer. From the soul, y'all.
Peace world, welcome to Meet Them Mondays on Jolt Radio. I'm your host, Cristian Portilla, and today in the studio I have Jorge Palacios with me, also known as Beyond Beautiful, also known as Alistair Azure, also known as Jorgito. He's an artist, DJ, gardener, spiritual healer, architect of vibes, and a dear friend. And today we are talking sabbaticals and just taking a break from life. Welcome, Jorgito.
Thank you.
It's so good to have you here, Georgie.
It is such a pleasure.
So we all need these times where we take a break. Some people quit their jobs to travel the world. Others take breaks in forms of vacations. And others take a walk, right? For this show, we're doing something a little different because I actually don't know the details of your trip and your sabbatical, so I'm going along on this journey of discovery along with our listeners. But from the pieces of your story that I do know, you took a sabbatical on foot from Florida to California.
From Florida to Cali.
Okay.
I like how you call it sabbatical as well. There's been many ways that people have described this journey, but that's the first time I heard sabbatical. So
I figured it would definitely have to do with something of the spirit, and when I was doing research on what I could call it, like, I feel that from your intentions and what I perceive, at least, you'll let me know that was kind of like the term that fit best. And so yeah, let's get into it.
Yes.
Alright, so first take me to mentally and where you were in your life, where you started thinking or these ideas were creeping in, like, I'm gonna need a break or I'm gonna take a walk. Like,
right.
What was going on?
Yeah, the prior mindset. I was basically in a place where I felt like I was just losing everything. At the time, I wouldn't go into like minor details, but at the time, like, I lost my job. I kind of like felt like I was losing my identity because at the time I used to wear giraffes on my shoulders. I don't know if you remember that.
Of course.
And that became too much of like me, and that wasn't who I was.
Stuffed animals, like little stuffed animals.
I was like going through a very deep alcoholic phase, and just constantly being in a place of not being happy, but also really digging into my spirituality as well. And then just knowing all of that, like, my mind was just in a very convoluted place, like nothing made sense, and something just came to me to just leave, just completely vanish, disappear. And something that I've always wanted to do in my life, which I succeeded in, that was I became a mystery, and I felt too at that time it was time to become a mystery. So when I was digging deep into my spirituality, my teacher / mentor, shout out to Jamar, she mentioned when I brought this up to her, like, I don't understand why this came to me to just go traveling on foot. She mentioned Mount Shasta, and then that's when I asked, like, oh, what is Mount Shasta? And she said that's where all the wise ones go. So I was like, okay. She didn't go into too much details about it. I kind of did some research, a little bit of research, looked at a few pictures, and I'm like, okay, that's where I feel like I need to be. So yeah, at the time, like, I didn't really have like any money or anything, so I just kind of said, you know what, I'm just gonna go with what I have. I kind of had like intentions of, if whatever happens, so I even kind of like had the mindset that I might even die on this. Yeah, but just do it, you know, like, you never really know until you actually just go, like, to just take that leap, you know. So yeah, that was
What year was this?
This was in October. I remember the exact day. It was October 3rd, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 22 at the time.
Okay. And do you remember where you were when that feeling came over you, like the time and the place, or what, like that feeling of taking the walk, or that calling?
That calling, different places. Like, a lot of it happened in my dreams as well.
I was just gonna ask if it came to you in
where
dreams.
it just like kept, like, a lot of things came into my dreams that actually didn't happen on the journey, but it really like resonated with the idea that there is something that's much bigger than you that you have to go through right now. So
okay. And take me to the moment where you were packing your stuff, and what did you take? Like, how did you just get up and go?
I actually didn't have like a book bag or anything at the time. I had like a trumpet case, so I took like the styrofoam out from there, and I just put whatever clothes can fit in there. And then I had like a little satchel where I put like cosmetics in. And I was like, okay, all I have is
like grooming stuff, like a
yeah,
soap, a razor.
yeah, like toothbrush. And all I had was like $10 as well. So I was like, let's see, let's just just see what happens, you know.
Okay.
I guess what made me most nervous too is that I knew I was abandoning a lot of people, because I wasn't telling anyone. I've only told my best friend, which you know very closely. Shout outs to that beautiful being.
Mellow Mouse.
And I want to say 4 family members: my uncle, my grandma, my mom, and my brother. And my mom knew this was coming, but I kind of told her when I left, like maybe the second day of being on the journey already, where it's like, oh, I'm doing this. But yeah, I guess knowing too that I told them not to tell nobody or anything, nothing at all. Just let people question. It was a very selfish thing, but I don't know. I just wanted people to like just really try to figure out what's going on with me, you know.
Yeah, and I guess for the listeners out there, when you decide, a lot of, I guess, what holds people back from taking a sabbatical or taking a trip and just, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to put my stuff in storage or sell it and just go, is because they don't have the freedom or the liberty to do so. So, where were you living? Were you paying rent? Like, what did you do with your belongings? How was it so easy for you, unlike other people who maybe own a home or whatever, like, to just get up and go? What was your situation, like, financially or living with?
My situation was I was living with my grandma. I want to say at the time too. No, I don't think my mom was living in the house. My mom currently lives with me now, but she wasn't there at the time. It's just my grandma, and I knew that there was just like a lot of support coming from the family. So if I were to leave, like, and I was already like unemployed for like a few months, that, you know, she wouldn't be like
missing your rent.
Yeah, missing. And she even said too, like, oh, like, do what you gotta do, you know, like, I'm gonna be just fine. So she didn't like hold me back in a sense of creating guilt, where it's like, oh, like, I'm not working, like, you're just abandoning me things. She's like, no, like, everyone in the family's got is gonna be able to support me. So
grandma vibes.
Yeah. Not even a hurricane can take you out of there.
Yes. Yes.
And my belongings, I actually wanted to get rid of like all of them, like
shed those layers.
Like shed those layers and just like give everything away. But like the timing wasn't there for me to just like, I don't know, just like start throwing everything out into the street or whatever. I just kind of like left it and told my family, oh, you can do whatever you want with my room. But they just left it how it was.
Okay, so I'm trying to picture myself as your mom, and I have like anxiety thinking like my baby's about to walk out. That's why she didn't know. Like,
well, she knew, but she was like, "Oh, you're not gonna do that. You can't do that. Like, how can you do that to me? Like, you know, like I've given you life, and here you are gonna put me through like the most intense stress possible. So that's why the day that I left, I didn't tell her like, oh, so I'm leaving this day, bye. Like I said, I seen my uncle and my grandma that day. They seen me. My uncle even dropped me off on a certain road where I was gonna start trekking from. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I kind of like called her. No, it wasn't the second day. It was the third day where I told her, oh, so
already when you were on the trip.
You remember what I told you, right? Like I'm already there. Like I don't remember which part of Florida I was at the time, and I told her that too. But just know that I'm really far from home right now. And then she just like started crying, and she was like she's just kind of like, well, damn, like there's nothing I can do. Like like she put everything in God's hands, and she just said, just I guess just call me if you ever need anything or whatever, like she's very emotional but without expressing too much emotions.
Yeah. Okay, so now that where did you start from this journey, this walking? Like, how did you map it out? Did you have a phone, a GPS?
I did. I was fortunate for that because my brother was one of the person that I told, and I even told him too, like, this is something I have to do. I know I was paying my line with you that I was connected with, so you can just disconnect me or whatever. But he said, oh no, just I'll pay for it. Just like, because I want you, I want to be in touch. Yeah, lifeline, and I want to be in touch with you, and I want to make sure you're safe. So since I had that, I used pretty much maps. Like I always Googled like the next like city or something like that. So on my first day, well, actually the first day doing it, I just Googled like California, and it was like
like you put your final destination.
Yeah, and it was like I forgot, like 2 years or something like that. Like to get to your destination. Yeah. But then I through the times I like minimized it where I was putting like cities. So there's a certain point while still being in South Florida that I put Orlando like as the destination, because that was like the closest, like furthest thing that I can feel like I can maybe understand to get to. But yeah, the first night, just to give you an idea as to what road I passed by, I had went through the Hard Rock Casino, the Seminole, yeah, that one. So I passed by that the first night.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Just so you know, which was State Road 7. So that's how I knew to like. There's a lot of like symbolisms through the journey that made me understood that my path was right. But just knowing how like the number 7 is always like symbolized as luck, I was like, okay, like
I'm in the right spot.
I feel like I'm in the right spot, yeah.
Awesome. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Meet the Mondays on Jolt Radio. I'm here with Jorge Palacios, and you're listening to the Sabbatical episode. And so, the breaking up of these journeys and how you were going from city to city, I'm assuming you're just walking along highways or walking along
so
streets?
Here's the thing I had to find out like the hard way.
Okay.
You're not allowed to walk like on the interstate, which I actually didn't know. But the reason I knew is because I think it was AAA. Is that one of the towing companies?
Yeah.
Some guy stopped in a truck. Is that, oh, like you're not allowed. Like they kind of like paged me saying there's a guy on the road. Like I have to like take you off of it. Because I was just gonna walk that straight and just see where it goes.
Yeah, being in the free world.
Yeah. But yeah. What was the other questions that you had about that?
No, about like what were you doing walking?
Oh yeah. So yeah, it was.
What was the hard way?
It was a lot of obscure streets and roads that I took as well. Sometimes I did visit like a lot of like random places that people would never ever like pay to just visit unless you have family like out in the middle of nowhere kind of thing.
Like
It's hard to say because there's just like so many small towns, but like it's those in betweens when you're trying to travel from like one place to another that you never ever stop in between. Like I don't have any particular names, but just like I've seen just random. I've been around like random
like
towns.
Like a Port St. Lucie on the way to like Orlando. Like
yeah,
a random town.
Not even that, but even more random. Like,
really?
Yeah, like
okay.
more random.
Okay, and what kept you going? What distracted you? Did you have any books or like studying material or a journal? Like how were you documenting this process?
I think honestly just being present is what really kept me like going. I didn't keep a deep journal. Like I kind of started in the beginning, but then I just got so lost in everything that I just didn't really think about writing most of the time. Many times it's like, you know, there's just like so much thoughts that are going through my head where writing was like the least on my mind, and just like so aware of everything. That was something too that I feel like I developed very strongly from being on the road, is awareness.
Focus?
Yeah, focus and awareness. And I didn't have any books, but there was a few books that were actually gifted to me like on the trip. Not that I didn't have a chance to read those too, but like one of them was like On the Road, which is kind of like tie in with that. And what kept me going in the beginning too was just developing the mindset within the first week of the journey, which it was probably like one of the worst weeks, because I was just like, I was in the deep mindset of like regretting and like feeling like, oh, like this is not necessarily turning back, but this is like a stupid decision, like what am I doing, like it's just like, yeah, you know, South Florida, so it was just so hot, it was very humid. I slept like outside through that whole week.
Outside where?
Just random places,
like a gas station,
like behind a building. Like the first night I slept inside a church. Yeah, because I was just passing by. I was like, I'm gonna sleep around it, but then something was like, let me see if the back door is open, and it was. So I like slept like on one of the long benches. But then after that, it was like other random places outside, and like it was very bad because like I was just getting eaten up by mosquitoes. Like that was nuts. Like I'm just like, I could like grab like a bunch like and squeeze them, and it's like 15 that I just killed like with one grab. They're just like on me, and it's like, yeah, those places that I've been to, yeah, they were intense. They were definitely the worst experience of the journey, even in comparison to like almost dying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Damn. Okay. And as you're going along, as this journey is progressing, who did you meet, or who helped you along the way? How did you build that interaction with people? And when they ask you, like, what are you doing on this random street in this random town, or
so
what was your explanation for this?
So something I meant to say with the last question that you asked was, so with that week being so terrible, I just like got so anxious and so stressed that I tried to hitchhike. I just like stuck my thumb out and like tried to like really like attract people and like try to get this over with quicker, like of just getting to California. And then from there too, like Jamar, my teacher, I like called her like that week, just telling her like, you know, this isn't easy, like, you know, this is I don't know about this. And then, you know, she just like really told me like, you know, of course it's never easy, it's never going to be easy, but you know, like you shouldn't like really have to ask anyone for anything. Like if you know you need help, those people will come for you naturally without you having to ask for it. So then from there I was like,
the power of intention.
I was like, all right, I'm never like gonna ask for a ride or, you know, anything like that. So I just like, all right, you know what, just continue. So the journey itself, it was a mixture of going on foot and accepting rides when people stopped and offered. And when they actually offered, they came. Like they just like came like in all mixed different bags, like good, awkward, like very like you know, just weird situations. Yeah, those people came. It's that I felt like through there I've met like I feel like everyone has like such a similarity in some format, but I feel like I've met like all kinds of people through that journey that from the rest of my life I feel like I can interact with people and be like, oh, I've met you before, you know.
Yeah. And so I guess the $1 million question that everyone must be asking themselves at this point is, how long did this journey take?
So with the mixture of traveling on foot and then the generosity of people, it was 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah, it was from October 2012 through May 2013.
Do you remember the exact day when you stopped in May?
I want to say it was probably like 4 days before my cousin's birthday, which if I'm gonna sound so terrible right now, but I want to say it's May 18. No, but it was May 18. It wasn't too far though.
Okay.
to
My
that
birthday.
to that special day.
And Georgie, rumor has it, or from the bits and pieces of this story that I've heard, you almost got killed by some people on the journey, or that might be an exaggeration.
They didn't almost kill me. It was definitely alright.
You
so
got locked in a room or something. No?
Well, yes, that did happen, but like they didn't necessarily try to kill me. I pretty much almost killed myself in a sense of So there's a point in Arkansas that I kind of just reached Arkansas at night. I was like on the verge of crossing out of Louisiana, and this is one of those obscure roads that I took. So I kind of like took an inland road, and it's just like mostly like just pure like long trees and woods and all of that, and then you just see those random houses here and there. So once the sun dropped, it got cold. It got cold like really, really fast. And it was probably like, born and raised in Miami, haven't really traveled too far. It got cold to the point where I just couldn't handle it. And I didn't come prepared for the winter. So I definitely was in a place where I probably would have caught hypothermia. Yeah, it just got so intense. I even felt like all the muscles in my stomach start tightening up. I got so weak, and that road that I was walking on, there was hardly any space. It's enough for my 2 feet. It's not like I can go left or right, because there's a main road there, and there's a lot of cars passing by, and I always felt it was kind of hillish, but not too deep on the side. So,
but how did you make it to these people?
So there's a point. So this is this is the deepest part of the journey, because almost dying, I got to really experience that feeling of just actually leaving, and kind of going through journeys of grief and acceptance at the same time. I was definitely crying deeply, not because of I was probably gonna die, but just because of I was really suffering in a sense where I'm just really freezing. My feet are just so swollen, and so I was just they're just really giving out, that just kind of started dragging a little bit at that point. It's just all that pain, and many things came to me where I just started crying very deeply, and just started saying it was very strange, because it was it was being appreciative as well, because I just knew where I just kept saying I'm sorry, I shouldn't be crying, I should just be grateful because of the things I got to experience already, and just really knowing that it wasn't in vain, because at least I tried, and then I had stopped crying for a little bit, and then maybe 15 minutes later it came to me again to just burst out all this emotions and energy, and just start I just started apologizing. I don't know why, but out there all this apologeticness just came to me, where I just started saying I'm sorry, please, I'm so sorry for anyone I've ever hurt, or anyone that I've ever made feel a certain way, I'm sorry, I don't know. And then something just came to me that gave me a slight burst of energy, but not to the point where the feeling of death was still gonna come. But it was just something just came to me that just, I kept hearing this voice that said, it's okay, my child, it's okay. There's a point too after that I just realized drowsiness was kicking in, and from looking from far, I didn't really see much civilization, and at the point too, I wasn't so deep with nature to just actually just sleep on the side of the road. I just knew I was probably gonna pass out on the side of the road at the time. So in that moment of just feeling my vision was kind of leaving me, depleting, and then that feeling of almost falling down, a truck just pulled really fast in front of me, and just stopped there, and then that guy just came out with his hands out saying oh, are you okay, are you alright? And at that point I started crying again, because I knew alright, I was saved.
Oh my God. If you're just tuning into Joe Radio, you're listening to Meet Them Mondays. I'm Cristian Portilla, your host, and I'm here with Jorge Palacios. Wow.
Yeah. How much time we have before the break? Because there's still a little bit.
We
to the
have
story.
5 minutes left.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just to give, yeah, all right, gotta make this quick. There's a lot to that.
We'll
so
take
yeah.
our song break at 7:30, but finish
Okay.
this. So the guy pops out.
Yeah, so the guy pops out and it's like he took his jacket off and put it on me, and then I was like, I started crying again, and then I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just really cold. And then he just like, oh, like, you know, I'm really sorry, but like, there's no space in the front of the car. I'll have to like give you a ride from the trunk. And I was just like, whatever. Like, I'll be moving faster. It's fine. And then there's another lady in there. She's like, oh, like, no, it's fine. Like, I can kind of like squeeze him behind the seat, and like he can sit in the front. And then he's like, all right, that's fine, but I have to warn you, there's no AC like going on. I mean, there's no heater, so it was just still cold. I was like, shit, all right. Yeah. So I took it, and then like in the process of us like going there, I was just like, you know, like saying thank you and thank you, but like
Do you remember
just
his
like
name?
still shivering. No, a lot of people's names I really don't remember.
No, sure.
Yeah, it's just like quick
Wasn't
encounters
training.
many times.
Yeah.
But I'm like still like really shivering and like just like holding on to myself, like really gripping like my bones, you know. And then like he asked, he like started driving, and he's like things seemed mellow, and then like I don't know, he just kind of like went 0 to 100. He's like, oh, you like rock and roll music? Then he just like blasted, and it's like it was just so loud, and like it wasn't pleasing, that like it made me like quench
Sure.
my body even stronger. It was like, no. And then I mean, I didn't say no, but like in my mindset I'm like, oh no. Yeah, I just wasn't comfortable in that moment because of the sounds. And then he was like, oh, like you want something to drink? And he had a huge like gas station cup of like alcohol and like watered down like Coca-Cola.
So this
I was
was
like, no,
an
no.
encounter that was not like pleasing to you.
Yeah, because it as it progresses, like so,
'Cause we have
yeah.
to-
What happened was he ended up saying, oh, so like you know, we're Christian folks, but we haven't been good Christians today. And then he was like, all right, so this is what's gonna happen. You know, as we get to this town, I can either take you back to our house and you can rest there, or I can drop you off on this corner and you can get attacked by some coons or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, these are his words. And he's like, you could go back to my place. In my mindset, I'm thinking, you know what, I'd rather fight them than to fight off the code. So I was like, all right, let's go. So as we're progressing, he's like giving like random history about like the city or whatever, the town. And he's like, he kept making like very strange references to like 666, and like he kept saying like things about like the devil and stuff like that. And I just like I wasn't sure like what to make of it. And like he spoke to like on like his the lady that was with him, his wife's father, like that he was like some kind of strange deranged man, that was the house that we were going to.
But wait a minute, before I'm gonna stop you there. But
Okay.
Were there? I'm assuming that this was a dark time, and you met dark people. Can I assume that like this was a dark period of the journey? But
Well, I guess you'd have to hear the rest of it to like really answer that.
Okay, because I feel like we're getting into it, but also I want to make sure that we really like give people the full scope of also taking these sabbaticals.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of of these dark places, like getting to the moment where you were in that room, or where you almost like what this was about.
So I will say there has been some dark people that I can encounter, that like a lot of older men especially, that had like wrong intentions with me. Yeah, and that was super awkward. But they actually weren't dark. They had darkness in them, but they weren't expressing darkness towards me. It was just me overthinking, because like, you know, I'm hearing all these things. Just so you know, to like, just to make the story quicker, there are a lot of details I'm leaving out. What was 666 and what he was saying was that was a little black kitty cat that they were that they named 666.
Oh my god.
And yeah, by the time they got me to the house, like they seemed fine or whatever. But I definitely did see their own inner darkness, because like the wife went crazy like the next morning, like trying to like find like alcohol that she had stored in her house, and like you hear her like talking to herself, like saying, why me, like why the fuck his head and just like really spazzing
Going
out.
through
Yeah. And not to mention too, like the guy who gave me a ride, he was like racist as well. Like
Wow.
there's many times too, like besides that comment he made like prior, when he was trying to like drop me off somewhere, he was getting ready to say something to like a few like men of color that were working under construction. Yeah, so it was.
The middle of America is definitely not how South Florida
especially
is.
Arkansas.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, but we'll be back with Meet Them Mondays on Joe Radio.
See ya.
Okay, we have 7:30. I didn't mean to rush you, but
no, I know. Like,
you were getting too deep into it,
mhm.
and I have to bring you out.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was good.
If people are tuning in and we're in the middle of a story that only you and I, I have to bring you out so we can get to the meat of this.
Yeah,
too.
No.
Because you can go deep. It's your story.
And,
but my job is to pull you out and get you focused.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot more details to
and not
that.
only that, but the next half of the show, which for those people tuning in, hi. Facebook Live, but the next half, we're also gonna kind of close off like more part of this journey. Hit the points of like what you learned of people, how you develop that spiritual energy that has really come to define you, from going from that dark period of alcoholism and all those things to so much light where you are now. And what your projects are now and whatever. So
Yeah.
Because we only have 30 minutes
No,
left.
no. Yeah, you're definitely.
An hour goes by so fast.
Yeah. You're doing a good timing, but yeah, that story is definitely I guess Mel's told you like a brief.
She didn't go deep. She was just like, I remember he called me. He told me he was in a room and that he wasn't sure if he was going to be okay. And I was like, dude, what do I do? Like, where are you? And that you didn't even know where you were from the room you were in because you didn't know what was... Well, you just woke up to this room.
Well, just so you know, the thing was... the room was part of the house, but they wanted to put me in there to be more comfortable. But the thing was, all the windows were taped up. It was boarded up from the outside. And the door, when they would want to put me in there, had no door handle. So, yeah, of course, like,
you're gonna freak out.
And I guess that's why she mentioned the room, because I was skeptical about that.
Like, I'm gonna be a hostage here.
Yeah. But yeah, like, there was some trippiness about them, for sure. Like, they weren't in a good place, you can tell mentally.
Yeah.
But they definitely didn't mean me any harm. Like, they tried to feed me and stuff like that. But it's just me that was just like skeptical. Like even when they tried to feed me, I was like, wait, they might poison.
Damn.
So I was like, no. Yeah. So I didn't really take anything from them. Like I kind of like slept with like one eye open when I tried to rest on their couch, and then that's when they woke me up like in the middle of the night saying they want to put me in that room. You know, like, oh, you should go in there. It's comfortable. And
shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
the next question when we come back on is when you reached your final destination.
The destination, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What that experience was like. And remember, we have 30 minutes to fill in what you learned when you got there and now what you're up to.
Gotcha.
Because that's really important too. Because this journey has been a journey. A journey even up to where you are now.
Yeah, definitely a sense of morphing, like more of who I was to become, you know. Yeah.
To become. How are we on time? We're coming back soon? Okay. Welcome back to Meet Them Mondays. I'm your host, Cristian Portilla. And I'm here with Jorge Palacios. That was William Devon. Be thankful for what you got. And we were just... I feel like that song is so appropriate.
Nice. Shout out to the engineer hooking up the tunes. Hey.
And so we were just getting to, this story of like a weird encounter that you had. But just as many weird encounters you had.
There's very,
very great ones.
A lot of amazing encounters.
One of those being when you reached your final destination. What was the name of the place again?
Mount Shasta.
Mount Shasta.
That was the
Okay.
destination. It's so high up on California that's pretty close to the border of crossing from there into Oregon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was-
So put me in the scene.
yes.
How did you make it to Mount Shasta? Did you get it right in there? Did you end up walking?
So yeah, so the night before, the day before, I had walked at like an area that was close to it, which I believe it was McLeod. I passed by that night, and then there's a lodging that I stayed in with a little bit of money that I had. I just kind of used it on that to like really like bandage myself up, I guess.
So you saved a little
yeah.
bit of cash till the very end.
Well, the thing was, random people would just give me money. Like there was one time someone just drove by and was like, "Oh, here, like can't give you a ride, but like just take this." Yeah.
Okay, back to the scene.
So there's like a lodging that I stayed in, and there's like it's very comfortable. I won't lie. There's a young, not a young, there's a woman there, and she.
Good job. Good save.
Yeah, she was one of the residents there, and they got to like get an idea of what I've just been through and where I'm going, and they're like, "Oh, that's amazing!" Like they were like really fascinated. So the next day of going, continuing on getting to the destination. One of those people from that lodging was actually stopping by, and there's like, "Oh, I'm going there. Like, you should, do you need a ride?" I was like, "Sure." I was gonna say I should just walk the rest of it, but then, so if something felt very good about the energy, that I was like, "Yeah, I'll tag along." And so she was very too motive, where it's like, "Oh, you made it," once you actually got there, it's like, you've gone through all that and you've made it. And yeah, that was pretty much the last person on the road like that I met.
Okay.
But actually getting to the destination, Mount Shasta was so.
Describe it for me.
It's
Who was there? What did it
it's
look
so
like?
pure. The first moment I got there, I was meeting up with someone I was gonna stay with, which I use couch surfing a lot. For anyone that's listening, that's curious how I did with other places of sleeping in. Couch surfing is dope. You meet a lot of incredible people there. So waiting for my host, I was just kind of exploring around, and someone drove me to a spot which was this place where there's just flowing water. Everyone pretty much just drinks water from the mountain there, and it's the most drinking that taking a sip. They say, "Yeah, you have to do it." Once the first thing you do to Mount Shasta is drink the water. And it's drinking water for the first time. It was so amazing how clear and pure that tasted. It was undescribable, and it just from there I understood what water really is.
Emotionally,
yeah.
How did you feel? Did you cry? Did you get on your knees? Did you kiss the ground?
I didn't. I was just I wasn't more enjoyed than anything. Yeah, Mount Shasta, I felt was a place where manifestations happens like nothing. It just
And
just
who's there? Is it people pitching tents? Is it a nature preserve? What?
No, there's actually a little town, a little city close to it. I didn't actually go to the mountain itself because it was still kind of frozen.
Okay.
But I was just more exploring around the city and the town that was there. And it's a very, very small place, but just everything about it felt very good. And like I said, manifestations really happened. Where
so the greats were there?
Yeah. Well, you definitely in the air you can feel the greats were there. There was a Native American that I met there, which he had a lot of things to really express as far as maybe this is a message I'm supposed to pass on to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was that's very deep of what he said. So I won't get too deep into that. But I would meet someone, and then next I would meet someone again that they actually know each other. So it was a lot of things that just really aligned in a sense. But just definitely there was definitely how you would describe very fairy tale hippies that were there, things you only see in a fairy tale. People that dressed a certain way, that were living certain nomadic lifestyles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were
off
there.
The land
Yeah,
type of vibe.
Not even that, but just I don't know. It was very strange because they weren't living off the land, but they were just very from place to place kind of thing, but within the actual area.
And how long were you there for at your destination?
In
How
Mount Shasta, I want to say I was probably there for maybe 3 days. first.
What?
Yeah,
An
it was
8-month journey
yeah,
for a 3-day
because
stint.
here's the thing. By the time I actually got there, as beautiful as it was,
Had you
I
lost
I
weight?
felt well, the thing was I felt very fulfilled at that point already. Where it was like it wasn't about the destination. You know, it never really is about the destination.
The journey.
It is the journey. It really is like I like really experiencing everything that I have. It's like, you know, what more can I ask for? Like, what more do I really need to see? You know, there's definitely someone that I met there, which I left those giraffes. The giraffes that I mentioned earlier, I left them in Mount
The stuffed
Shasta.
giraffes
Yeah,
that
they're
you
at this
carried
at this art supply store that I met this one woman, which I don't remember her name either. And yeah, she just went really deep as far as like just it's I would get too deep into that, but just being like who you are and like really like understanding your truth, that you know your truth is you yourself are even beyond your own truth, that's not even you, that you're more than that, you know. You know, and so it was a lot of that where like you're more than all of this, like none of this is really you, and this, and yeah, she was very aggressive, but like in a very way that was like
a
okay,
teacher,
yeah, like a
almost, or
teacher,
like
yeah, like a huge teacher. And she didn't even, you know, intend to be that. It was just like that's just what came to her and what she felt like she had to share towards me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so there was a lot of that, and those interactions really helped me understand that yeah, this is necessary.
Absolutely. And I guess to tie in the story of this trip before we get into what you're doing now, how did you make it back to Florida?
So by the time I was ready, I was just ready to come back home.
You didn't
that's another
walk
thing
back.
too. I didn't walk back, which I should have, because
Another
for the-
8 months.
because what I took back was my uncle. He offered to get me a Greyhound, and that was horrible. Like for 3 days for going back.
You're still grateful,
Yeah, I'm still grateful, definitely. But like bus after bus after bus after bus. Oh, you missed your time at this time. Oh no, you gotta wait. Bus after bus after bus.
But that's how you made it back
Yeah.
on the Greyhound.
Mm-hmm. Greyhound.
Okay. Okay. So the Greyhound brought you back.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, what did you learn? Like, what was the takeaway from this part of your life? Now looking back.
It was what I definitely learned a lot about myself. I definitely learned how to embrace being alone, because the majority of the time, you know, when you're just like on the road, like solitary, like that really helped me to just be present, like to just like go, like just really feel, and like you know, of course there's always thoughts in my head, but like I'm always just like my awareness was just all over the place, that I was just so in it. What I've really learned too, that you know, most of the time we tend to like try to go like to such extent and far distances to like escape, and most of the time too we're trying to escape ourselves, and it's like kind of ridiculous. Like if people try to travel to escape themselves, and it's like you're never ever gonna try to escape. You can't escape yourself, because you're always gonna be there, no matter what you do, what kind of substances you take. Like no, you're just gonna end up facing.
You have to do the work.
Yeah, you have to do the work, and you're just gonna end up facing a different part of yourself most of the time when you try to do something that is like
Not within you.
yeah, not within you. Mm-hmm. So it was that. It was just the things I was trying to seek, the things, the motive for the journey too was just to like give, you know, good energy, and you know, all of that. I just knew that it was just within me. You know, I was trying to give good energy without completely understanding on how to give it, because I didn't have much to offer. But yeah, I understood that it was just everything was within you. Like the things you're really seeking, the answers that you really need, it's all there.
And I guess, last question about this, but when you finally made it home, like, how did your family greet you? Like, what was that like?
So I'm somebody that likes to work with surprises very deeply. And what I did was, I think I told my aunt, I was like, oh, so I'm coming back. Don't tell none of the family. It was my cousin's birthday that day.
Alex's birthday? Or?
Stephanie.
Okay.
Shout outs to Steph.
Mm-hmm.
And she like nobody knew. I think maybe just my uncle, my grandma, and my aunt knew. And I just she first picked me up from the Greyhound, and then she told me she took me to like shower up, clean up, whatever. And so what I did is like they were distracting because there's like kids outside at the time. They was like distracting them to not like see me pass through. So when I ran into the house, I kind of like just burst open the door and like walked in, and the first person, like everyone just kind of looked like very surprised and startled, but the first person that seen me was my mom, and she kind of like looked over like very confused, and she was like she just like took a deep breath, and she like embraced me with a hug and just like let loose the tears. Like she was like, so yeah, there's a picture of me when I came out. You just see her like with looking miserable, and I'm just smiling. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But she was happy, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like the strongest hug she's ever given me.
No, I can't imagine the joy. And one thing that I did notice about you, and we have about 15 minutes left, but you shaved your appearance.
Yeah, I wanted to like feel like I'm going in this brand new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a big significance of like shaving and getting rid of hair and all of that. I know because I've shaved my head before too. And so I remember when I posted your picture on my Instagram at Rumphy Rights. There's the picture of you and you're bald, like where you have a shaved head and you
I shaved it all off. I wanted to start fresh, and I wanted to, I guess, like let my growth, like my physical growth come through there.
Through the journey.
Yeah, through the journey, and then just see kind of like how I look at the end of it.
Okay. And like I know listeners out there are really gonna want a lot of details, you know, like how often did you shower, how did you groom, how much weight did you lose, like all these things, and we can't.
Yeah, time is so brief.
Time is so brief.
I could only give you guys so little.
But if people do want to reach out, like they definitely can come to me, and I'll answer all of those and put them in contact with you. But what's your Instagram?
So my Instagram is Beyond Beautiful, and that's view as in VIEW, and then Tiful. That is my Instagram. That is
TIFUO.
Yeah. Beyond Beautiful is my Instagram. So is my SoundCloud, which I guess we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And if you want to find me on Facebook, it's Alistair Azure, ALASTOR, Azure AZURE.
Okay,
so,
awesome.
Yeah,
because I know people want like the details, the like how many dollars, all these things, but we don't have that much time. But I do want to get to where you are now, and how this journey has really guided you up to like this point and what you've been up to. So as of late, I guess
that is such a great question, because I didn't really look at basically the school of life that I went through to really put me in the place of where I'm at now. Because that journey, a lot of things I've experienced and learned through, and even like events and stuff that I was a part of, has helped me to become more of who I am now, which is definitely more of like someone that tries to bring people together and like strive for community. And that's currently where I'm at now, where I'm doing different things that are like aligning all these beautiful people into one place. And that's all I'm about, really. It's like unity and finding different formats to like heal our planet. Because that's my mission now. It's to unite us and to make our planet as green as possible. I currently work for the Education Fund, and from there we help sustain and teach about food forests that are in elementaries. Food forests, yeah.
To elementary school students.
Yeah, tomorrow we're doing another build, and that's going to be the last one for this school
What's
semester, where we actually start from scratch of making a food forest and
a garden.
Yeah, a garden. And yeah, that's officially going to make as well 10% of the schools in South Florida that have food forests from the Education Fund. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be a part of that. So it's a lot of like I'm connecting like a lot more with the land as well, and that helps me to connect with people, because I feel like a lot of interactions I've been having, like it's been like a lot of like like a lot of spirits talking, you know, like I feel like, you know, talking to people now.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, I feel that.
Absolutely. And so the gardening that you've gotten into, you're also a DJ. You're
Yes.
also a painter. You're an artist.
Mhm.
You're a spiritual healer, and you bring all these people together. Let's talk a little bit more about that. You recently had an event at the forest.
At the food forest.
At the food forest in your home.
Well, yeah, I have.
And you've been hosting these type of events.
So I have my own personal garden that it's very open to people. And from there, something I did recently with the homie Sam, shout out to him. We did a project called Plant Philosophy. And then from there, the concept is to basically grab creatives and innovators and people that want to express themselves, come together, learn about seeding, the process of that, and like kind of like starting from scratch as far as like growing your own plants. And then from there, we apply the art of intentions towards the seeds. We imply it, and we also write down things that you're going to accomplish. You have to say, I will do this. And then from there too, like we kind of sit down after we're done, like planting the seeds. We sit in the middle of the table, and our intentions, the energy that we're emitting that goes into that, where you know, people start to gather around and just talk about the things that they're going to do. And then from there too, kind of like helps us to understand like where you're trying to go and how can this person or this other person kind of like, you know, be on that journey with you. You know, it's like connecting different people's with different assets and attributes and things that they want to offer as far as like building, you know, like coming together. So yeah, that has been really incredible. And this weekend, you can find details on my Instagram of an event that we have that's a retreat that's basically the science of success. And there's different things that will be taught, and one of them that's we have the honor of doing is teaching plant philosophy there. So I'm very, very excited about that. It's a 2-day retreat. It's $90. Everything's covered, like as far as like meals, and it's all vegan, and just like a lot of deep experiences that are really gonna enhance your mindset. Because it's the main event. It's for the gentleman by the name of Dr. Supreme Understanding, and this young woman that put it together of the name of Sunshine. You can also find them too on my Instagrams. That, you know, they'll be expressing a lot of things that's just gonna like give people a life-altering experience that weekend.
If you're just listening or you're tuning in, you are hearing Meet the Mondays on Jolt Radio. We have about 10 minutes left of the show, but I also want to talk about the work that you're doing in terms of your art, and also you have a lot of different types of things going on. I remember when I went to one of your events recently at the garden in your home, which you very much open to the community and people who want to be a part of it. One thing I definitely loved and noticed is that you have a lot of different ethnicities and a lot of different people from different walks of life that come to your events. I feel like you are a voice of someone who a lot of different people gravitate toward, and I really loved being in a space where I was able to share with someone who might have been in trouble with the law in the past, someone who's a teacher like Sam, someone like me who's a journalist, and I eat plant-based but I don't know much about these plants, and just a model was there, like so many different people. An older grandma was there.
Someone that I've met from the community, like that lives like a minute from me. Yeah, she was part of it. And
I'm interested in knowing, maybe with these last 10 minutes we have left, what intentions you have. What would you like to get into? What events maybe you have in mind? How can the community either help you or be a part of this movement that you're working on?
So definitely a lot of the intentions is just seeing how we can all come together and continue to build. And build can be identified in many ways. You know, whether it be like, you know, physically building something or just building yourself. My intentions is just to like really create like a space for people to just really feel like there's still some peace left on this world. So I'm a part of my remaining lifespan on this earth is to just do what I can to make your life, to help you like put your life in a place where you feel like that this is a good experience to be alive. It's all about that. It's just all about the empowerment of each other. I never want to say, oh, I helped someone empower themselves, because that's not true. No one is ever going to help you. You are going to receive these things, and then you're going to end up helping yourself. And then from there, that's where self-empowerment comes from. So it's a matter of just, expressing just who I am, and from there seeing like really guiding others to like letting them be themselves, and letting them know that it is okay to be me, to be I, to just be,
I'm so glad you brought that up, because if people, when they go check out your Instagram, they're gonna see that you say, call me B.
B. You may call me B.
You may call me B, and you spell B
all the time.
B-E.
Any word that has B in it, I always capitalize it, because I always want to remind someone to simply be. There's just so much going on. Life is so chaotic that we never just really find the time to just relax, just chill, just take a moment to just sit down and be, just be present, like be in the moment, like just, turn off your phone for like a second and just like, just let everything go and just breathe,
Absolutely.
So that's the reminder. Anything that has B in it, and like a lot of epic words do
and
have
me,
B.
like
yeah.
M-I-I.
Oh, that, when I say me and we, that's actually a reference towards my fandom of Nintendo. Fun fact.
That's so deep.
I know.
That's awesome. And Georgie, one thing that I love too is that we can get into this a lot.
Yes.
I'm not gonna go there, but we've had this conversation where I feel like a lot of people are on that wave right now of being spiritual healers, and they practice with all these forms of energy and all these things, and like I'm starting to see like a trend of that. I'm not mad at that, because if that's gonna be a trend, then that's a beautiful trend to be, capital B-E. But I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I don't feel like those people are genuine, and sometimes their energies don't match with mine, and that's okay. But I'm full disclosure, I may be biased because I have a love and appreciation for you on a different level. However, from my heart, I've never felt like your energy has not been genuine, and it's beautiful the way that you attract all of these other beings around you that I also feel comfortable with, and are also walking like this journey of wanting to know about the land and plant philosophy and eating plant-based and being one with the earth. And you practice a lot of these habits. When we are hanging out, you do leave your phone in the car, or you're not the type to take a picture. Like, you're more intentional with your use of social media. You give me that time, and you're there when we're together, and you're just very genuine about the way that you are, and I love that so much. It's something that I feel like, okay, like that's what I feel like other people vibe with that too. Like, you are that same person with all of us, and I think that's why so many different people gravitate toward that. They feel very like genuine and at peace when they're with you, because you do practice what you preach, and your energy is very beautiful and very inviting. So
thank you.
I'm so grateful for you. And your birthday's coming up. You have an event coming up on your birthday.
If you guys want to be in a creative space and get to see as well the sanctuary that I've been building in my house, in my home, anybody is more than welcome if you're in a position that you just want to connect. That it is a creative night where gonna have different people just doing art, and it's also gonna be collaboration with a friend of mine. Her name is Luna, and she does baked goods. So it's gonna be a mixture of that and just like
what
people
night
being.
Is that?
This is March 2nd, and it's gonna be at 9 p.m.
Okay, and
Yes.
if people want the details of that, they could just hit you up on Instagram
They
at
can.
Beyond Beautiful.
Beautiful.
VIEWTIFUL.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we have just a few minutes left, but is there anything else that you want to share? Any other upcoming events or ways for the community?
So I mentioned the next 2 events that I have this weekend. This is a pretty full week. And also the last day of February, I will be dropping another mix called The Dirtiest of Revolutions.
That's right.
Yeah, that you can pretty much get an idea of what that would be about, but it's also like an ending towards Black History Month as well, so.
Which I know is you're passionate about.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about that, and this is kind of like my homage and dedication to Black heritage, but also like really speaking on the times that we're in now, which is like the revolution. There'll be a lot of like tracks that might have reflected times back then. That it's so strange how we're currently in times where the past is currently very much present. Well, the past and the future are both in our present, which is very strange. So it's kind of like that. It's gonna be that experience and just like feeling like, you know, you're gonna feel a lot. You're definitely gonna feel like very empowered. You're gonna feel very uncomfortable. And yeah, it's very deep. The intentions of it is to make it feel like an old school Spike Lee movie. So
and that's also Beyond Beautiful.
Beyond Beautiful on SoundCloud, but if you have troubles finding that, you can find it on my Instagram as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, Georgie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
That was our show. Make sure to tune back on Monday, March 12th for a new episode of Meet Them Mondays on Jolt Radio. It'll be our Women's Day special. And listen to this and other episodes on roamfreerights.com or find me on the web at roamfreerights. Check you later.
Thank you, guys.
Guess what time it is?
What time is it?
8 p.m.
Oh, 8 p.m. exact? Nice.
Yeah.
So we start exactly at 7. Yeah.
You feel that? When you... That's how I feel that's a feeling that only the person who sits there can share with me. Of we got through this.
We did it.
Right? Thank you so much, everyone who checked out the Facebook Live.
Thank you guys. You guys
again,
are great.
yes. Again, I know, like I've said this before. This, you know, there's a lot of details, a lot of things that we can't or couldn't get into because I only have 1 hour and I wanted to bring it full circle. But I already tagged Georgie on this video. He's tagged on all my posts. If you reach out to me, I'll definitely connect you. You'll be more than happy to answer any questions about taking a trip on foot. And make sure to connect. That's what social media is about. That's why we do this.
And that's what I'm about, connecting. So,
yes, building these communities and creating a tribe of goodness, you know. That's why we do it. That's why you do it. So yeah.
Tribe also has B in it.
Bye guys.